Championship Campdraft.
Now, there are plenty of people sitting out here in the ground that know everything that's going on about Campdraft. I mean, there's lots of people like myself that have seen a little bit, and there's some people here that have never seen it before. Jim, what are we going to see? What is Campdrafting?
Well, it's a very unique Australian horse sport. We call it the World Championship Campdraft, Tim, because there's no other country in the world that work cattle with their horses the way that we do here in Australia. So you're going to see some of the very best competitors and the very best of the Australian stock horses and quarter horses here to compete for the World Championship Campdraft. And like you just said, Tim, the cattle were brought over there, put in what we call the cattle camp. And the competitors in the beast will come in there, and they will the competitor will select a beast, bring it to the face of the camp, and that is out of a possible score of 26 points. So one judge might give 20 points, one might give 21, so that is 20 and a half. So if people here are half a point, that's because the scores just might vary from 1 or 2 points. It can be a left or right hand course, but here in the Spotless Stadium, here on round 1, it'll be a left hand course. So the first peg will be taken on the left. You get 2 points of that peg.
So, Jim, the pegs, are they what we're calling the green trees out here in the arena? Is that a peg?
Exactly right, Tim.
Okay.
Yes. So the green trees, so we call them pegs in the old term. So the green trees, the first one will be taken on the left. They'll come back into the centre here. They'll do a changeover to form the start of a figure 8. The second one will be taken on the right, and they get 1 point for that peg. And when they cross that line, they'll head back out there towards the Sydney Royal, the members stand, and they've got to try and put that beast between the two pegs closer together, which we refer to as the gate. They get another point for the course. So that if they do that, and it sounds very easy, that's 4 out of 4 for the course. The horse work, that is the speed of the run, the control of the run, that is out of a possible score of 70 points. So a possible score in the camp of 26, a possible score of 70 for horse work, and then a 4 out of 4 for the course adds up to a total of 100 points.
And our competitors are warming up out here. They are looking ever a dapper today, all dressed in their beautiful R.M. Williams attire, and they are going to be going through their paces. And, Jim, we're joined with some very notable riders, and in fact we've got some defending champions here in the arena.
Well, Tim, they are all champion competitors, champion horses. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show for the World Championship Campdraft. But we have got some have been here coming for a few years now, and one competitor we'll talk about a little later on. We get on to him in the draw. Won it 4 years in total, the last 3 years in a row.
That is unbelievable, Jim, isn't it? That is just phenomenal.
It is unbelievable, and they're known nationwide for their magnificent horsemanship and the horse. Yes, they're a great combination, and we're talking about Nigel Cable and Chevron Ivory.
Well, going back in the history of this sport, Jim, in fact, the first of the campdrafting competition started at the Sydney Royal Easter Show in 1934. World War II forced us a break for 7 years, but otherwise we have seen campdrafting here each and every year since 1934. And this year we're proud to associate the World Series Campdraft with a wonderful sponsor. They've been with us for as long as I can remember.
Yes, Tim, Tyrrell's Wines, they've been a great supporter of the World Championship Campdraft, and here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, magnificent sponsors, and just so great to have them on board.
Well, I didn't want to say the name because I know you just love them. I think, have you sampled every one of their products?
Does it only come in red and white, does it, Tim?
Yes, it does. You're a clever man, Jim. Hey, Jim, so the competitors, they'll get to go through the warm-up. They have to select their beast. Is there any luck in the draw? You know, if I get to go early, is that good because the cattle are a bit fresher? Or if I get to go late, is that good because the cattle are not getting to run as early, or they get to see what's happening?
Well, Tim, it's like anything else. The luck of the draw and a little bit of luck, you can do a lot of things. If you've got a little bit of bad luck going against you, well, you don't start right. It's very hard to finish right.
And tell me, mate, the beasts that we see there, once they've done their run, do they go back and have another go, or that's it? That's their one hit for the Spotless Stadium?
No, they only have the one chance in the Spotless Stadium. They'll be put out to the return yard, and they'll go back out onto hay and water and very well looked after, and they'll be trucked back home to Elliston, and then another fresh lot of cattle for round 2 tomorrow, and so on.
How lucky are we to have the Packer family with the beautiful stock coming from the Upper Hunter with the Elliston Pastoral Company supplying the cattle for this camp draft?
Well, that's exactly right, Tim. No cattle, no draft, and very, very thankful to Elliston Pastoral Company, to the Packer family, to Rob Teague, the manager up there, and Scott Mitchell and the whole team. Were very, very lucky, and particularly we're a lot of part of the Hunter Valley's been in a very, very bad situation with the drought.
Now, we just heard the stock whip crack. Who was that, and what's their role this evening? We've got 2 judges, is what I'm alluding to.
That's right, our 2 judges, and they need no introduction. Mr. Fred Patterson from Gloucester, the 3rd time that over the years that he's been asked to come here and judge at the World Championship Camp Draft, and also Mr. Keith Horrigan from Branga Plains at Walker in the New England. So we welcome Fred Patterson and Keith Horrigan, our Camp Draft judges.
Well, we welcome our first contestant into the camp now. This is Ben Tapp riding Cool Dust. Cool Dust is a 17-year-old mare by Romeo out of Oaks Stardust. This combination have won over 50 open drafts, and it is wonderful to welcome Ben and the team down here. His dreams and hopes are to continue camp drafting and compete at the successfully and continue his breeding program, breeding quality horses in the sport of camp draft.
Well, thank you, Tim, and we're about to go into business. Our judges are just about to give the nod. So our camp draft judges, Fred Patterson and Keith Horrigan, and our competitor number 1, Ben Tapp, with Cool Dust, as he casts his eye over this wonderful lot of Angus steers for round 1 of the World Championship Camp Draft 2018. So Ben's about to make his selection. So there's the judges say so. Righto, we're all set to go. Won't be too long, we'll see Ben Tapp with Cool Dust step out onto the main stage in the Spotless Stadium, round 1 of the World Championship Camp Draft. And as we said earlier, it is a left-hand course on round 1. The green tree is the first peg on the left. Then come back to the centre of the arena, do the changeover. The second peg's taken on the right. And then when they get over close to the 2 pegs close together, as you refer to as the gate, that's when we need the boys and girls and the mums and dads to start cheering them on. So the Australian stock horse, they go to work. And it is number 1, steps out into the Spotless Stadium, Ben Tapp with Cool Dust, and he's got a very fast one here on round 1. And he goes out of bounds, and there goes the stock whip. So a little bit unfortunate there for Ben Tapp and Cool Dust, but we'll have a cutout score coming through for you very shortly.
Well, while you're waiting for that score, Jim, I'll tell you a little about our next drafter out there. It's Nigel Cable, who really needs no introduction. He's out here on Chevin Ivory. He and Chevin last year not only won that year, they won the year before and the year before that. In fact, they've won 4 years in total here at the World Championship Camp Draft from a tiny little town called Ryder with a population of 50 people. This guy's been campaigning for 16 years.
So we have a score for Ben Tapp and Cool Dust. There was a cutout score there of 23 points. 23 points there for Cool Dust and Ben Tapp.
Well, in the camp now you can see Nigel Cable. He's riding an Australian stock horse that he's had a great amount of success on here. It's a 20-year-old stallion and by Lindsay and out of Chevin Ebony.
So Nigel Cable and Chevron Ivory, they make their selection. They work up the face of the camp. They do the 2, the 3. They call for the gate. They're about to step out into the main arena. And Chevron Ivory and Nigel Cable. And they come out and around the first peg. And he's also got a very fast one. But look at the stride there. Now Chevron Ivory says to Nigel, leave the footwork to me. You just look after the pegs. And he does that perfectly. Around the first peg. They do the changeover. Oh, boys and girls, mums and dads, get a little bit excited. He just sits back there now. It's finger touch control. control. Now Chevron Ivory, look at this, he stretches up. This is camp drafting. Nigel Cable around the second peg. Boys and girls, mums and dads, let's get a little bit excited. Can they do it? Round 1, World Championship camp draft. Chevron Ivory and Nigel Cable. Give you a lovely round of applause.
I have goosebumps, Jim. What a sensational round. We'll wait for the score to come in. While we wait for the score, it's going to be a tough one to beat. Our next competitor number 3 this evening, will be Brendan Fitzgerald. He's competing on more rocks. Woody, as Brendan's known around the camp, and he has more rocks. A 7-year-old brown stallion by Roxon out of Lady Moore Acres. He has won the Chinchilla Novice Grandfather Clock Draft in 2017. He's from Roma, up there in Queensland, and he has the Condamine Bell, the Warwick Gold Cup, and the Warwick Stallion Draft. Our next competitor will be Brendan Fitzgerald. And do we have a score there for our next competitor?
And a score there for Nigel Cable and Chevron Ivory was 22.5 for cutout, 62.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89 points. 89 points for Chevron Ivory and Nigel Cable. Well, unfortunately there for Brendan Fitzgerald and more rocks, there'll be a cutout score there only. But this is only round 1, Tim. There is a long way to go. Round 6 rounds over the World Championship camp draft.
Well, next into the camp, Jim will see Andrew Chapman. He'll be riding Digby. Well, Andrew's a cattle stud manager who had the ABCRA Open Horse of the Year in 2016, Maiden Horse of the Year in 2009, and has won many of these Open Championships. This is his 4th year here at Sydney Royal Easter Show.
Score there for Brendan Fitzgerald and More Rocks was 21.5 points. 21.5 points for More Rocks and Brendan Fitzgerald. So Andrew Chapman, here they go with Digby. Number 4 on the draw. Right up the face of the camp, he calls for the gate, and Digby says, come on, Andrew, let's go. And we step out into this lovely arena, the beautiful green grass. And I like this around the first peg, nice and steady. And Digby says, you just leave this to me. He said, you just sit up there and press those buttons. I'll respond to whatever you want to do. He comes around the first and around the second peg on. Digby says, it's time to go, Andrew. Just loosen those reins and I'll move up a little more for you. And come on, girls and boys, mums and dads, can Digby and Andrew Chapman do it? It's looking pretty good. It's looking very good. It's an excellent run there to Digby and Andrew Chapman.
What a run. Well, as we wait for the score, the next of our competitors to make their way into the camp will be the first of our female competitors. A wife, a mother and a farmer from Coolar in New South Wales. It is Sue Duggan, and Sue is riding the Bay Gelding by the name of Quindella Chief by Acres Destiny out of Quindella Dove.
So we're just about to get a score to come through here now for Andrew Chapman and Digby, and the score is 22.5 for cutout, 63.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course. A top score of this stage of 90 points. 90 points for Digby and Andrew Chapman.
And Jim, that gives us a new leader in the competition, 1 point in front of Nigel Cable on 89.
So up to number 5, Sue Duggan from Coolar, New South Wales. She makes her selection. Once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company, to the Packer family, also to Rob Teague, the General Manager, and Scott Mitchell and the team from Elliston. Magnificent line of cattle. They call for the gate, and this is Sue Duggan with Quindella Chief, number 5 in the draw. And the steer says, yes, I'll come around the first peg for you. You just sit back there and follow me around here. Now, see if you can catch me. They do the crossover. They've got 2 out of 4 for the course. And the Quindella Chief around the second peg. And looks like another lovely run coming up here. One of our lady competitors, Sue Duggan and Quindella Chief. Oh, boys and girls, mums and dads, let's get right behind Sue Duggan. Can Quindella Chief line it up? Can they line it up? They sit back. It's looking very good. It is very, very good. First year here drafting at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, and what better way to kick round 1 off for Sue Duggan.
While we wait for that score to come through, the next in camp will be Adam Sadler. Comes to us from the town of Bunnan in the Upper Hunter in New South Wales. Riding today a 9-year-old quarter horse mare he calls Tajano Spin. She's only in her 3rd year of campaigning, but her mother has won a reigning futurity.
So we're just about to get the score to come through there now for Sue Duggan and Quindella Chief. And we have a score coming through now of 21.5 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 87 points. 87 points for Quindella Chief, ridden by Sue Duggan. Well, number 6 in the draw, Adam Sadler. Dejano spin, he makes his selection. The property manager from Bunnan in the Hunter Valley. And some of these steers, they become very close friends too, boys and girls, mums and dads, and they say, we want to stick together. But these are great stock horses and great competitors. They know all the little tricks to say, well, just sit back here and move there and one step there. As Tejano spin, Adam Sadler calls for the gate. Out they come. Onto the stage here of the spotless tame, then he's got a fast one, and look at Tejano spin around the first peg, and Adam Sadler says, just sit back here. Oh, tightly around the first peg. That's Campdrafting at its best, a lovely peg there to Adam Sadler. They do a quick changeover. Oh, and around the second peg, things are looking very good. They're going to tighten things up. Oh, and boys and girls, mums and dads, let's start to get a little bit excited. He's going to go straight towards over to the gate in front of the members stand. Can they do it? The steer says, yes, I will. Can they do it? Oh, Champagne Campdraft. Give him a big round of applause, Adam Sadler from the Hunter Valley and Tejano spin.
What a run. We'll wait for the score, and while we do, we welcome out the next of our competitors into the yard. This is Hugh Miles on Peelvale Wishes. Hugh is 28 years of age, first started competing here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show in 2016. He's a horse trainer, and tonight he rides the Chestnut Mare by Conductor, who is an 8-year-old mare, and it's a quarter horse Australian stock horse.
So a score now for Adam Sadler and Tejano spin was 21 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86.5 points. 86.5 points for Adam Sadler and Tejano spin. Well, Hugh Miles from Dungowan, the horse trainer, cutting horses and Campdraft horses. He's second year here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show for the World Championship Campdraft. And he just does it nice and quietly. Takes these beasts up the front of the camp. Going for the big points, round 1. Calls for the gate. Hugh Miles and Peelvale Wishes. And he says, yes, we'll just come around here, and lines up around the first peg. As the Angus steer says, oh, this is a lovely ground to cover a little bit of a canter around on. And Hugh Miles and Peelvale Wishes. Oh, and Wishes are just wishes around the second peg. Oh, and the lovely Chestnut Mare now does a changeover, heads towards the gate. This has been Champagne Campdrafting in round 1 of the World Championship Campdraft. Can we see 4 out of 4? I think we can. We certainly can. We'll leave it to our Campdraft judges. Another great run, round 1 of the World Championship Campdraft.
Well, next in camp, we can expect to see a man who's been campaigning here since 1998 twice. He's won the World Championship Campdraft. This is Grant Botham. He's on Samuel's Jules Acres.
So the score comes through now for Hugh Miles and Peelvale Wishes, a score of 23 for cutout, 64 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 91 points, 9-1. Therefore, Hugh Miles and Peelvale Wishes as Grant Botham makes his way around the first peg, round 1 of the World Championship Campdraft, and they've got the speed on here too. Grant Botham and Samuel's Jules Acres through the crossover. He's got himself a very fast Angus steer from Elliston up in the Hunter Valley, and just going, great guns here at the moment. They've got 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. Now they come around here to line up the gate for round 1. Can they do it? Can they do it? Jules Acres. Oh, they're just going to cut it a little short. But give you a nice round of applause, boys and girls, mums and dads.
So close yet so far here in our Tyrrell's Wines World Series Campdraft. Well, as that beast leaves the arena, we welcome the next of our riders into the camp. This is Gavin White, 30 years of age, riding the black mare by the name of Ashcat Destination Diva, or Diva as she's known around the stables. And he has drafted since he was 8 years of age, and now at 30, it's a family tradition to breed and train the horses that they compete on. Gavin White, 30 years of age, the next of our competitors.
Yes, and Gav White from Crindai, the horse trainer, ran equal second last year in this same event. So Gav White with Ashcat Destinations Diva, and he's got him front of the fast one too as they come around the first peg, and you see the stock horses. They smell the battle with delight here in round one. And around the first peg they come. He just finger touch control, sits back, goes up around the other side there and of the beast. Around the second peg they come. This is camp drafting now, and the Angus steer is cooperating. He says, yes, I love being out here in the spotless stadium. Now Gav White, here we come around. Gav White, Ashcat Destinations Diva. Can Diva do it? She says, just sit back a little more, Gav, sit back a little more. And it comes around and looks pretty good from here. We'll leave it in the hands of our judges.
Well, next out on course here will be a man called Paul Carlin. He's riding Heatwave, a stallion whose progeny have been selling at the Landmark Classics at Tamworth for anywhere between $20,000 and $25,000. He's a dual-registered stock horse and quarter horse, been campaigning for 10 years.
So we have a score coming through now for Ashcat Destinations Diva, ridden by Gav White, of 22.5 for cutout. 60 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86.5 points. 86.5 points there for Ashcat Destinations Diva, ridden by Gav White. We move on now to number 10, Paul Carlin, the grazier from Bathurst. And Heatwave steps out into the main arena here for round one of the World Championship Camp Draft. Oh, and just not going to get one to run on. So he comes back down, he gets the second go at the first peg. Heatwave says, we'll just sit back here, Paul, but he's just going to get a little far away, but the horse does a good bit of work, and he's just going to come in, and Paul says, we'll give it away. There goes the stock whips from our two judges, as we welcome our two judges, Fred Patterson from Gloucester and Keith Horrigan from Branga Plains. Okay, we'll just go back to do that score for Grant Watham with Samuel's Jules Acres was 22 for cutout, 57.5 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 82.5 points. 82.5 points for Grant Watham and Samuel's Jewel Acres.
Well, our competitor in there now coming at the gate, it's Troy Palmer with Benny Impressive Destiny.
And Troy Palmer and Joe, the steer is just going to cut short and come down below under the first peg. And ID that he's very well known, a great combination, Troy Palmer and Impressive Destiny. We'll go with a cutout score. And that cutout score is coming through. A cutout score there of 21.5 points. 21.5 points there for Impressive Destiny. And the score there for Paul Carlin and Heatwave was a cutout score of 23 points. 23 points for Paul Carlin and Heatwave.
Well, our next in camp will be Warwick Lawrence on Proud Little Pepto, a horse he calls Pep around the stables. Pep actually comes to us from the United States, a quarter horse imported, only been drafting here for 2.5 years, but had a very successful cutting career over in the US and as well here in Australia.
So, yes, Warwick's drew number 12, and we thank our cattle stewards, Pete and Dave Kelly. They put the other beast away, get ready to make his way back up the Hunter Valley. So many thanks there to our cattle stewards, Pete and Dave Kelly. So we'll move on to number 12, Warwick Lawrence from Rosebrook, the horse course lecturer at the Tocal Ag College at Patterson, and comes right up the face of the camp. He's going for the points, and one way, two the other way, three now. Warwick Lawrence with Proud Little Pepto. He makes his way out here on the centre stage, and the horse moves up, just gives the steer a little bit of a bump, and that's a nice little bit of horsework. Oh, great anticipation there from Warwick Lawrence, and finger touch control. The horse just sat and said, I'll just wait for you, Warwick, and around the second peg they come. And here we go. Warwick Lawrence with Proud Little Pepto. He says, yes, he says, just sit back here a little. I'll just duck up here for you. He says, you give me the little bit of a tickle when you want me to go. Boys and girls, mums and dads, it's looking pretty good. Can they do it? Can they line it up? Can they do it? I think it's looking very good. Have a look up on the big screen. I think he just
too
scraped
good.
through.
He just got there. He held that inside peg, but he got there. As we welcome now the next of our female competitors. She's only 20 years of age. She rides the 17-year-old bay mare by the name of April Landridge is the rider. And in the saddle, we welcome out Jekka's Request. And this young combination have had great success. In 2008, they won the World Championship Campdraft and third in 2009. And she's a young horse trainer.
So I'll just do that score for Proud Little Pepto, ridden by Warwick Lawrence, was 22 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 87.5 points. 87.5 points for Warwick Lawrence and Proud Little Pepto. April Langridge now with Jekka's Request, and out onto the centre stage they come, out here in the Spotless Stadium. Round one of the World Championship Campdraft, and it's brought to you with the compliments of Tyrrell's. And they come around the first peg, and things are looking pretty good. They might be just about to crack a bottle, will they? Now round the second peg, and look at the pony, steps right up around on the shoulder there. Around the second peg now, 2 out of 2, 3 out of 4. Now they're looking for 4 out of 4. April Langridge and Jekka's Request. Can Jekka do it? Jekka's looking good. And look here, she reaches down and gives Jekka a good little pat along the neck, and a great run there from April Langridge and Jekka's Request.
And as we eagerly await that score, it's Tony Mortimer next in camp. He's on Ghost of Abbey, and she's the first foal out of a multiple national title winning mare, Little Abbey. She's a 7-year-old Cremello and has only been campaigning for about 5 years, but has placed in the open drafts and the novice drafts and even made the final in the Warwick Gold Cup.
So we have a score coming through now, Lindsay, for Jekka's Request and April Langridge of 20.5 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86.5 points. 86.5 points there for Jekka's Request and April Langridge. Up to number 14 we go in the draw now. This is Tony Mortimer with Ghost of Abbey. It calls for the gate. He steps out onto centre stage. And Ghost of Abbey and Tony Mortimer. And he's going to get a fast run around the first peg. And the beast says, yes, I'll come around this way. And Ghost of Abbey says, we'll just sit back here a little bit. Tony says, we'll do a quick changeover and we'll tighten the second peg up. And Ghost of Abbey, Tony Mortimer, just drifts a little there around the second peg, but things are looking good now. Now he says, come on, let's go now. Ghost of Abbey and Tony Mortimer. Can they do it? Can they do it? He's going to go straight towards the gate. Can they do it, boys and girls? It's going to be fast. It's going to be tight. Oh, right down the centre. Give him a round of applause. Tony Mortimer with Ghost of Abbey. It's been Champagne Camp Drafting in round number 1 of the World Championship Camp Draft.
What a treat we're having here in the Spotless Stadium. If you have just joined us, this is the Tyrrell's Wines World Series Camp Draft. Round number 1, 2 competitors to go. And the second last rider out will be Terry Hannigan, making their way into the camp, riding Durkin's Onyx. And Terry and Durkin's Onyx is 10 years of age. It's a bay gelding bred by the Australian Stock Horse Society. And Terry has been 2.5 drafting with Terry, this combination. And they have the Hollywood stud from Canamble in northwestern New South Wales.
So we have a score now for Tony Mortimer, and Ghost of Abbey was 20.5 for cutout, 62.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 87 points. 87 points for Ghost of Abbey, ridden by Tony Mortimer. Up to number 15 now, Terry Hannigan with Durkin's Onyx. So Terry Hannigan calls to the gate, First time here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show for the World Championship Camp Draft, and he couldn't have got off to a better start. A nice camp around the first peg. Terry Hannigan and Durkin's Onyx, and they come around the first peg. They do a changeover now. Now he says, oh, let's tighten it up a little more around the second peg and right up on the beach's shoulder. Camp Drafting at his best. Terry Hannigan and Durkin's Onyx. Now Onyx says, we'll just sit back here a little bit and we'll let the steer run along. Just think he's going to get away on us. Now he says, now we'll move a little closer. Now he's going to go make it pretty tight. Oh, I better get excited. We better get excited. Oh, look here. Durkin's Onyx and Terry Hannigan from Canamble. First time drafting here at the Royal Easter Show in the World Championship Camp Draft.
Well, as we eagerly await that score, the next lady in camp has a lot to prove. She was equal second here last year in the World Championship Camp Draft. It's Kyra O'Brien on O'Brien's Rosette.
So we'll just get the score coming through for you there for Terry Hannigan. It was a score of 20.5 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86.5 points. 86.5 points for Durkin's Onyx and Terry Hannigan. So, yes, we could see a bit of history here in 2018. Lindsay, we have Kyra O'Brien, compared to number 16, their last in round number 1, but the brother and sister. The sister to Warwick Lawrence, Kyra O'Brien. So we see a brother and sister competing in the World Championship Camp Draft here in 2018.
And a grandfather, Harold Willard, well, he has won this World Cup Camp Draft on 2 occasions as well, so it's really in the blood.
There's no doubt about that, Lindsay. Okay, she comes right up on the face of the camp with O'Brien's reset now, and over his reset says, let's go, let's step out into this lovely stadium, the Spotless Stadium, and look at reset. Oh, around the first peg, and very tight too. Great judgment from Kyra, and they do the changeover. Oh, the second peg is going to be just as good, or can she get around? As the beast says, I think I know where home is. Well, give her a lovely round of applause, boys and girls, mums and dads. She was trying. Things were looking so good. That was Kyra O'Brien with O'Brien's reset. And we'll have a cutout score coming through for you of 22.5 points. 22.5 points there for Kyra O'Brien with O'Brien's reset. Well, what about the scores and the runs there, Lindsay and Tim?
Oh, Jim, I am just blown away to open tonight with that many completed courses. What a treat. I think, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, you have to come back just for this event each day because, Jim, that is world-class, literally.
That is exactly right, Tim. And once again, we cannot have this competition. And to the great supporters and to the cattle, Elliston Pastoral Company, to the Packer family, to the manager Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell up there and the team, handpicked, and absolutely a big thank you to Elliston Pastoral Company. Been Champagne Camp Drafting round 1, and it won't be too long now, Tim and Lindsay, and we'll bring you the winner and the runners-up for round 1 of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft.
Well, it's pretty spectacular to see the camp drafting here. It's only night 1 of our 6-round competition. But did you know, Tim Dreverman?
No, I didn't know.
You don't know, because I know, because I'm the stats lady. We have been conducting camp drafting competitions in various forms here at Sydney Royal Easter Show since 1934.
Isn't that unbelievable? And it just shows tonight what good camp drafting does. It's great entertainment, and let me tell you, you could go all around the country, but to see what we've seen here tonight, 16 of the best competitors going head-to-head. But camp drafting is nothing without good cattle, and that is what we've seen here tonight. And also, Lindsay, we couldn't do it without the wonderful sponsors. I know you are a keen, avid wine drinker, am I right?
I thought you were about to say you're a keen, avid Elliston Cattle Pastoral Company supporter, or a good R.M. Williams clothing wearer, which I am too, but I also am a big fan of the Tyrrell Wines business. They do make some beautiful wines, and it's a great thing to just sit here in the members' stand, enjoy a Tyrrell's wine, a red, a white, perhaps a sparkling.
When you're watching world class, you need to be consuming world class, and that is what Tyrrell's are, and we thank them. When you're in the bottle shop or down at the local cellars, make sure you hunt them out. They are fully Australian owned and operated, based in the Hunter Valley. Tyrrell Wines, proud sponsor of the World Series Campdraft in 2018.
You talked about the quality of the cattle that were out here and the quality of course, the wonderful sponsors that are involved. But these competitors are simply not allowed to be part of this competition without achieving very high levels across the board. They need to be a top 5 place rider here at the World Cup or various other major competitions around the nation in order to even get here.
Okay, thank you very much, Lindsay and Tim, and we do the presentation to winner of round 1 of the World Championship Campdraft. The presentation being made by Councillor Mr Jeff Mason and Mr Duncan McIntyre, and our ringmaster Mr John Bennett. Our councillors Mr James Angus. Hugh Miles, I'm here with the winner of round 1. Well, Hugh, no better way to kick off round 1 of the World Championship Campdraft 2018. You must be pretty pleased.
Yeah, mate, no, it's a really good start to start the first round off like that. It takes a bit of the pressure off a little bit, but we've still got a few nights to go.
You, this is your second year here at the Royal Easter Show drafting?
Yeah, mate, yep, second time down here, so I had a year off last year, but it's good to be back.
How do you keep yourself fit? You know, it's just not a sport that you can just pull the boots on the jeans and jump on a horse and go. How do you keep yourself in pretty good nick all through the year?
Oh, mate, I live on a horse. I spend more hours on a horse than I do anywhere else, so yeah, it's pretty easy for me to stay riding fit for sure. I ride about 30, 40 horses a day, so it's pretty easy. I
was just looking at the overall score sheets there a while ago. I think there was 12 out of the 16 full round scores. Magnificent, a lot of cattle.
Yeah, mate, real great lot of cattle. A real credit to Elliston and the guys down there. They've done a great job with them, and yeah, no, it's a great start. Everyone will be really excited about the way the scoring started. So, no, it's a great start of the week.
Also, when you go for dinner tonight, there's no doubt you'll be having something, but washing it down with a
bit of Tyrrell's wine, mate, for sure, without a doubt.
Okay, congratulations, you, and all the best for the remainder 5 rounds.
Yep, no, thanks, Jim. Thanks very much.
Well, Jim, we have the official results now, and we just spoke to the winner, Hugh Miles, on 91 with Peel Vale Wishes. Second place, going on a score of 90, just 1 point behind Andrew Chapman and Digby. Third place, going to Nigel Cable with Chevron Ivory on 89. Fourth place going to Warwick Lawrence on 87.5 on Proud Little Pepto and equal. Fifth place going to Sue Duggan with Quindella Chief and Tony Mortimer with Ghost of Abbey. A wonderful lineup. Jim, a sensational call once again. And as Lindsay said before, night 1 of how many nights do we get the gracing of your pleasure in the Spotless Stadium?
Well, Tim, there's another 5 rounds to go. We've just completed round 1. We have 5 more to go. So it is still open competition. But as they go on their victory lap, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, so Tim, at 3:25 tomorrow evening, back in the Spotless Stadium for round 2 of the World Championship Campdraft.
Thank you very much. Well, come on, ladies and gentlemen, as they come past, winner of night number 1, Hugh Miles with Peel Vale Wishes. What a super run here tonight. 12 out of 16 rounds complete the course.